Right. Algebra 1 students. So we're going to continue this pattern of doing some review videos. And this is going to be for 4.5 through 4.8 to prep for the quiz or just to review the topics as needed. So this covers quite a bit, and we're going to go through, not all these sections are as closely related to each other as the previous one, so we'll just treat them one by one. 4.5 is about using word problems to set up linear equations. So there's going to be two different linear equations that we use. One is slope-intercept form. And when you're using slope-intercept form, remember that's y equals mx plus b, then you're reading the question and you're asking yourself, does the problem tell me when I read it something about the slope or rate of change or the rate at which I'm gaining money or the rate at which I'm doing whatever it is? So slope is the rate of change or the rate of increase. And then also, does it give me some kind of starting value? Does it tell me how much I spent or what I start off with? If you know those two things, then you're going to use slope-intercept form. On the other hand, some problems will instead tell you a sum or a difference. So they'll say, like, you've got some of these and some of those, like 5 apples plus 10 bananas, or I mow 6 yards and I don't know, do a paper route. Like it's some of this and some of this. And when you combine those together, you get a total. So it could be a total amount of hours worked, a total amount of money that you have, a total amount of items that you have. But in general, if it's some of these and some of these combined together to give us a total, then you're going to use standard form. And the reason is standard form is AX. So sum of whatever the first thing is plus BY, which is sum of whatever the second thing is, equals the total that you have, which is C. Either way, whichever form you're going to use, you always have to define your variables, which is X and Y, or you could use different variables depending on the context of the problem. So let's jump straight in and do some examples. You get sell a summer job selling candy bars around the neighborhood. You spend $45 on supplies to get started, and then you earn $5 per candy bar pack that you sell. So we know a starting off value, and then we know a rate. This is a rate because it's got the word per, $5 per. So our variable is going to be how many candy bars packs did we sell and how much money did we earn? And our equation is going to be in y equals mx plus b form. So I'm going to just use y equals m, which is 5x plus b, but this is going to be negative 45. The reason it's negative is because we had to spend the money to get started. Maybe I had to buy the candy bars in the first place. Maybe I had to buy some other supplies. I'm not sure, but you can imagine you spent some money to get started. Now, in this case, our variable x is number of candies sold. Since I'm doing this with a mouse, I'm going to kind of just shorthand it here. Number of candies, and then y is the amount of money that we end up with. Money, money, money. Okay, cool. So how much money would you end up with if you wash? Oh, this is a typo, guys. I'm so sorry. I meant to update this, and then I think I ran out of time when I was making this document. How much money would you end up with? Let's just say if you sell 3 candies, okay? If you sell 3 candy packs per week for 8 weeks. You might recognize this question from one of the reviews we did with the washing cars. But if you sell 3 candy packs for 8 weeks, then that's 24 candy packs. So your X is how many candy packs you sold, which is going to be 24. And you're going to plug that in. So Y equals 5 times 24 and then minus 45. You just type in your calculator, 5 times 24. You get 120. You subtract 45, and it looks like we're going to get $75 profit. So this takes into consideration the fact that you had to pay the $45 at the beginning, because that's minus 45 right here. So you'll end up with $75 profit if you did this task. Okay, one more example. Let me clear your screen. Scroll down. Second example, buying some sandwiches and pizzas. So we got new prices compared to the example we've done previously. So here we go. You order 8 sandwiches, so it's going to be 8S. We'll use S for sandwich plus 5 pizzas, 5 pizzas, and that's going to cost us exactly $100. What about our variables? Well, S and P are going to stand for something. So in fact, I'm going to try typing. This might be faster. S is going to be the number of sandwiches. It's not the number of sandwiches. And here's how I can tell. I go back and I read, and it says, I ordered 8 sandwiches. So I know how many I ordered. That's not the variable. So the thing I don't know must be the price of a sandwich. And then P is the same thing. I know I got 5 pizzas, but I don't know how much the money it cost me. So this is the price of pizza. And another way to tell that it's that my variable is price is because at the end it's telling me it was $100. So the thing that I'm calculating is the amount of money I paid. All right, so now we're gonna try to say, what if the pizzas were 14 bucks each? What was the price of the subs? So again, I can try to type this actually. We can say the price of pizza. So I got 8 sandwiches plus 5 pizzas, but the pizzas were $14 each, and that equals 100. Cool, that's great. So now I can do this is 70. 5 times 14 is 70. So I spent 70 bucks on those pizzas. I got to subtract 70 on both sides to see how much money I spent on those sandwiches. So now I got 8 sandwiches versus the remaining $30 divided by 8, divided by 8. And what do we know? A sandwich must have cost me 30 over 8. Cut those in half. That's going to be 15 over 4. Cut that in half. 7 over 2. Cut that in half. 3.75. So a sandwich must have cost $3.75. That's a pretty good price for a sandwich. You can plug these back in and verify it works. 8 sandwiches is 8 times this, plus 5 pizzas is 5 times that, and verified equals 100, which it does. All right, that's it. So these problems, again, to recap, read the question. Does it give you a starting value and a rate of change, or does it give you two things which you're combining together? Then write the equation in y equals mx plus b form or standard form, and be sure you define your variables, whether it's x and y or two other letters, whatever you're going to use, always write down what they stand for. Okay, now we're moving on to transformation. So this is the one that had a ton of, hold on one sec.